All right, good morning, everybody. It is the day of laying the pavers. As you can see behind me, all of the pavers are here. Well, not all of them. We actually need a second round to be delivered because not all of our pavers can fit on the truck that delivered everything today. We got 17 pallets coming today. I think they only dropped off 12, so we got 5 more coming right now. Lots of pavers to be laid. But as you can see, we kind of got our sand laid out in the driveway right here. And we're going to be starting at the garage because that is our square point for the house. Basically, we got one long string line running all the way down parallel with the house. And that is basically our square point we're going to be using to get our pavers laid in. Unfortunately, they didn't drop us off any border pieces, which we would have really liked, because usually we like to lay in our border as we're laying in the field. Makes it a lot better and easier for us. You can do it after, but not ideal for us really. So we're gonna have to wait until probably lunchtime until they get the second round out here to deliver the rest of the pavers. But as of right now, we are gonna screed out our sand, get this prepared, start laying in what we can. And just so you guys know, the way we do like to lay our pavers is we always have our screed rails set right under the streamlines, off to the sides. And then what we do is we measure down. We measure from the rail to our streamline, and we want to make sure it's 2 1/4. That way we know we're exactly at grade. This is actually a little lower right now, but all we gotta do is put a little bit of sand underneath this pipe. That will bring it up to the correct height we need it at. Roma's actually doing it right now, and I'll show you guys up close how it's done. See how he's in, he's measuring, making sure it's 2 1/4, which he has exact. And he'll check the middle and ends and make sure we're all at 2 1/4, so that this stuff doesn't try sinking on us. So you can easily push the pipe down into the sand to get to the correct height. Once these are set up though, that one and this one, all we're gonna do is spread the sand and use that 2x12 and bring the sand back the whole way. So for the rest of the day, I'm gonna throw you guys up on my head, and you guys are gonna get a lot of POV of how we lay these pavers and get this stuff in. Very crucial to get this ground as wet as possible with compacting. Really helps lubricate all the base into place, so when you compact it, it really smushes it all together and compacts better. And if you guys are curious about the worker that suffered the hand injury, he's actually doing a lot better. Got some updates from his boss, and yeah, he's gonna make a full recovery. But it looked really bad the day it happened. Thankfully, it's not going to be anything permanent or seriously injured. As you can see right here as well, we are getting the bender bars set up for the turf area while we have all the sand getting screeded out, so that we can start laying the pavers out on this area. The type of sand we're using is called masonry sand. It's really fine and basically 100% compacted, so you never really have to worry about any of the sand sinking or your pavers sinking. As you guys can see, there's two streamlines right here. This one is the back of our pavers right here. This one's actually gonna be the front. Normally we would only have one streamline up, but since the paver company Orco didn't deliver us any border pieces, I'm having to get two streamlines set up, the same exact size of our borders, so we know where to start. And basically where we're gonna start is on the inside of this pink line right here. So once the borders do get here, we're able to lay our borders perfectly in here, because we need a straight line to go off of to start laying our field, because the field's going to be on the inside right here. And like I said, normally I would lay out the borders and then the field would go along with it, but in this case, since no borders got delivered, we're having to just set up a second streamline to lay them out like that. Like I said, that's why we do like getting our borders on first round delivery. I don't know why Orco didn't think of that. I mean, at least one pallet of the borders would have been nice, but I guess, you know, they weren't thinking.
So I was a little annoyed at this point because I wanted to start laying the borders at the same time as we lay our field pavers, but luckily Orco came pretty much only an hour after they dropped off the 12 pallets to bring our border pavers. So in the end, it was no big deal.
Wow, the borders are already here. They just arrived. Got here a lot quicker than I was thinking. And we're actually starting to lay out the pattern right now.
So you can see us starting to lay out the pattern. This is a 5-piece pattern, villa paver style with Borrego color. And it's basically just a random assortment of the 5-piece pattern. The main thing you got to watch out for when you're laying these pavers down is to not let the lines continue for too long. You want to break up your lines probably every 2 to 3 feet. Anything over that, it'll start to look like a big joint. Then you can see over here in the sidewalk area, I'm starting to screed all of the sand back to get this area prepped out and ready for pavers.
A little bit right here. I need some right here. Yeah.
We actually did get a lot of the field pavers laid out before we did start to lay our border pieces in.
Okay, so the number one thing to do when you're setting pavers is you got to create a square point. So since we're kind of boxed in this little city sidewalk area between the city sidewalk and the curb, I don't trust it being square, especially because who knows how long this has been here for. The ground moves a lot, so it's probably making it probably made it unsquare. So what we did was we set 2 streamlines, one running all the way down from here to there, and then one running this way, and we put a square on it. That way we know our starting point is square. All we gotta do now is lay these out.
See, the biggest problem is if you don't create a square point where you're going to start your pavers, you're going to probably end up having to cut both sides of your pavers. You see how we laid our borders in first, and then we're laying our field right next to that. That means that we don't have to cut one side of the pavers. We're most likely gonna only have to cut the other side as we work our way to the city curb. And that's the last thing you want, is to have to cut both sides. It takes more time to do that, and it just looks worse. And then here, as you can see, we're using a specialized 2x4 cut down to 2 1/4 so that we can get our pavers to the exact height of that city curb. So while 3 of us were basically focused on the city sidewalk area, the other 3 on my team were working on the driveway area, and these 3 are actually all family. I actually like working with family members just because basically our business is full of family. Not only that, but these guys are very detail oriented, and I really love that about them. Sometimes I get a little bit of OCD when it comes to laying pavers and making sure all the lines come out very straight. That's why you also see us pulling string lines on all of our pavers to make sure everything comes out very nice and straight. And you can see right there, guys, we're doing miter corners for all of our paver corners, and we had to cut a little bit of that trim on the garage to get our pavers under there to be flushed out with the garage concrete height.
Good morning, everybody. Tim Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. As you guys can see behind me, we got a lot of these pavers laid out today. We got through, what was it? 8 pallets. I think 8 pallets yesterday. So we got through half the pallets yesterday. Today is going to be more of detailed work though. We're going to be setting all of our borders today. All of these borders are going to be getting set today. The radius and probably this side as well. Then wrapping up to that gate right there. As you can see, Roman and Jose are starting to dig this area out here, because what's going to happen is we're going to be mixing some Portland cement with the plaster sand or masonry sand, mixing that all up to set for our paver base. And then we're going to bring that through the radius area and going straight up to this garage area. But we did get a lot done yesterday. A lot of pavers were laid. My back's hurting. I'm sure everyone else is feeling the same. We got the city area laid out as well. I love these colors. This is a 5-piece pattern from Orco Villa style chateau color with Holland pavers for the borders, brown color. And I think they really complement each other, to be honest. And with a sealer on this, man, it would look good. Anyways, we're gonna get to it, start laying some more pavers.
So here we are the next day, and like I said, this is gonna be more of a detail oriented day where we're gonna be getting all of our borders locked in place. What we're pretty much doing and how we do this is we always dig out the sides to lock in the borders with concrete when the pavers have nothing to butt up against to. Like in the city sidewalk area, we don't need to concrete these borders because they're locked in between the curb, the city curb, and the city sidewalk. So we don't need to concrete that in. But for the driveway area, that's gonna be butted up against the turf that we're gonna be putting in, those areas need to be locked in with concrete. We basically bring our own Portland cement bags and we just use the sand and rock that was in this area and mix it all together. And then we use a 2x4 to make sure everything's at the same height. And it's a very delicate process getting these to the perfect height and also nice and straight. You can see our miter corner right there as well. I think the miter corners add a little bit of detail to all the jobs. I prefer them. I don't know. What do you guys prefer? Miter corners, or do you guys prefer the squared look? Then you can see the radius pipe we use to create our radius edge for paver driveway. This way we have something to follow and get an idea of how the radius is gonna look as we lay it out. Some people actually prefer laying all the field past the boarded area, the radius boarded area, and then cutting the radius themselves with like a cut-off saw or something like that. This team that I have actually does prefer doing it the other way though. They prefer putting the borders in first and then building the field pavers to the radius border and then making all the cuts that are left over against the bordered edge. But if you guys are in the trade of hardscaping, what do you guys prefer? Which way would you like to go about doing it? And what's really nice about the way we laid this out is we laid this driveway out so that we didn't have to make cuts on either side when it came to the straight shots. So that means you get the crispiest, cleanest lines. Because, you know, cuts never end up being 100% straight, not like factory style. So we wanted to prevent having to make any cuts if possible.
Okay guys, so the radius is basically in, and how the guys are setting it is with a PVC. They put two together. Actually, I don't think they use one right now, but they did use two to kind of get the initial radius set. Now they're just using one, holding it from end to end, and then they set them up, and then they adjust them as needed once they put the radius or the PVC to it. So as you can see though, this is it right here. It looks really good. Looks beautiful. Okay guys, right here I got some carpet from Home Depot. Some nice thick carpet really. What we use for this is we put this under our compactor, and we use this to basically compact all of our pavers so the plate that's pounding on the pavers doesn't scratch or ruin any of the pavers. So we put this underneath. Okay, so since we're pretty much done with the city area, all we're gonna do right now is put some of this polymeric sand in between the pavers. That's gonna help lock them all together. And then after I have this area sanded out, we're gonna compact them. And that's gonna help vibrate all that polymeric sand down into the joints even better, get them tighter. And then if there's any more that we need, we'll probably throw another bag on top and wash it down after.
So as I'm compacting the city sidewalk area, getting all of that polymeric sand in between the joints of the pavers, we're just working on the borders going towards the house now for the little walkway, and then also working on the outside edge of the driveway border.
Alright, good morning everybody. We're here actually on Saturday trying to knock out this paver driveway for this homeowner so he can get his vehicles parked up here as soon as possible. We did get a lot done yesterday. A lot of borders went in. As you can see, This whole border is in, concreted in now. We got this beautiful radius edge wrapping around like that. We are gonna start working on getting this right here, this driveway laid out, the rest of it, and then we're gonna start working our way on the border all the way up to that gate right there, and then also this border as well. Here's some more borders we did get in yesterday, right here. And then as you can see right here, these larger pavers, we're gonna be using these ones for the face of this patio porch area right here. And that'll look really good, one solid piece. And then we'll have our brown Holland paver right on top right here. So that's kind of the goal right there. And this is basically all prepped and ready. We just need to throw some sand down, and this walkway will be ready for some paver laying.
So as we're almost done with the driveway, we did start to come back to the backyard and work on getting our pavers set against the back of this garage where we did install that little retaining wall. And as you can see, we got to square it right off of the garage so that everything is in line with the garage. So we're doing the driveway and this area pretty much at the same time now. Now the homeowner will have a nice little area to pretty much store stuff, since he wanted some extra storage space in this area. Before it was unusable because of the hillside kind of coming down against his garage. But after that, we did work our way over to the walkway and front porch area. As you can see, we did get our steps installed. Now we're just getting the sand screed out for the walkway and for the porch area. So basically just me and my brother are working on the patio porch area and getting this all laid in. But as you can see, we have the whole paver driveway laid out now. The only thing we're doing is doing a little pre-compaction before we start to lay in our polymeric sand. You always want to pre-compact your pavers before laying in your polymeric sand, and you can see we do have our carpet attached to our compactor so that it doesn't scuff or damage the pavers. As you can see too, my brother did bring his dog Maple, golden retriever, to the job site. She was pretty much on site with us all day, being a little helper, supervisor, making sure everything's going according to plan. Once we did have the driveway all compacted, we went to the backyard and started compacting the little shed slab area now. Then you can see us laying down all of the polymeric sand between the joints. And now we're going to start doing the same thing for the driveway. Getting all the polymeric sand laid in, compacting, and then sweeping up all the excess. And then keep working our way down. And as you can see, we're pretty much doing this in sections just so we know what we've hit and what we need to hit, and to make sure that everything's coming out really nice. And I mean, as you guys can see, this thing's looking beautiful. What you see Roman doing right here is he's just cutting a joint between the paver border and the field just to make sure that line's really nice and straight. The last area we're going to be doing this on is the patio porch area. So unfortunately, I didn't get any shots of us installing the artificial turf, but here is a final look of the project. As you guys can see, everything came out beautiful. The homeowner was very happy to have his new paver driveway, patio porch area, and his turf installed. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, make sure to comment them below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We do really appreciate that. And stay tuned for more Odell Complete Concrete videos.